wonder here, and I'm wondering, what was it about COVID that gave the ordinary run-of-the-mill passive-aggressive Canadian shithead driver the excuse or the switch to flip the switch in his and her head to turn into the massive aggressive driver? The last few weeks, I've noticed it particularly bad. I suspect that the doubling of gas prices has had a lot to do with it. But since COVID, I've noticed that in-person encounters have tended to be much nicer, much more pleasant. I think the social distancing thing where people have actually begun, at least out in the burbs where I live, I don't know if this is going on in Toronto, but, you know, Toronto is fucking hell on earth, so I don't go there anyway. You know, that people, because they have that little extra distance, there's more reaction time, there's more gap between people. People just seem to be a little bit more pleasant and more polite, but not on the roads. In the last month, I have encountered so much massive aggressivity on the roads. And some of it is, you know, silly. I'm in a parking lot waiting for a woman driving right down the middle. There's no room for me to get around her, get beside her. So I'm just waiting for her to come down the end of the aisle and go past. And she's staring at me, shaking her head. I'm sitting still. I'm not doing anything. I'm not even moving. And she's mad at me for some reason. Oh, that's nice. Well, I have a counter offer for you, dearie. Fuck off. I mean, you're the one doing wrong, and you're upset at me because you're doing wrong? Well, that's interesting. And then there was the woman, my wife, she says, what's her problem? We were I'm in the right-hand lane because that's where I drive, because I use the cruise control and I don't drive particularly aggressively. I have the kids in the car and the driving aggressively just uses up more gas, and, you know, $2 a liter gas is expensive. So I'm going along at basic, you know, I mean, at the speed of traffic, just a hair over the speed limit on the cruise control in the right-hand lane. A lane comes onto the highway, and now this lane isn't a merge lane. It continues. This lane goes for miles. And there's a woman in a pickup truck gesticulating out the window because, I don't know, I'm beside her. And she's beside herself. Madder than shit. Madder than a wet hen because what? I didn't change lanes. I didn't speed up, slow down, whatever. Her lane didn't disappear. And even if it did, she's driving, I think it was actually a Dodge Dually with the Hemi engine. She, having, you know, out the window at me, she punches the accelerator and blows down the highway. Like, she had absolutely no reason to be upset at anything that I did. And if I had done something to upset her, hey, you know, I'd admit it. I got no ego about that. But this was my very sweet, lovely wife saying, what's her problem? Well, I suspect her problem is that she's a fairly typical middle-aged woman of means, third-wave feminist. I won't say the next word. And it's not confined to just out there on the 400 series highways. I almost got run over 3 times in the same intersection on my same lunch break. I was headed out. I was walking across the street to go to the park for my walk. And the light changed and I'm looking up and there's the white walking man saying, oh, Andrew, you and your coworker, we were headed across the street at the same time, can go. And I'm about to step into traffic and he grabs my arm and he says, look out. And he points to our left. And some schmuck in a Camaro is screaming into the intersection. He's turning right. But even though it's legal to turn on a red light, you still have to stop and yield to the pedestrians in the crosswalk with the walk signal saying they can go. Well, he did eventually notice us and stop and not kill us. And we're walking across and this is a fairly wide road. I mean, this is 6 lanes. There's 3 going that way and 3 going that way. And we hear him peeling rubber as he goes around the corner because I'm not going to read his mind for whatever reason. And we have crossed the median to where now the left turn lane people are coming around. And some jackass in a pickup truck is laying rubber and squealing around in front of us. And we couldn't hear him because of the a-hole in the Camaro redlining it and squealing his tires. So we didn't even know we were in danger of being run over. Pedestrians inside, in the crosswalk with the walk signal. Guess what, Sparky? We've got the right of way. I go for my walk. I'm coming back. Same intersection. 20 minutes later, I push the button. I don't jaywalk. I mean, like I said, this is a wide intersection and it's a 70 zone. I'm not looking to get smushed. Wide intersection, long wait. I push the button. I'm standing there and I'm wearing a bright orange t-shirt. I'm 6'1". I weigh 185 pounds. I'm not a small man. I'm not a big man, but I'm not a small man. And I'm wearing this flaming orange t-shirt. And the light changes. And I begin crossing. And I look to my left. And I see a car barreling at me. Making a left turn, the same left turn that the asshole pickup truck driver was making. So this wasn't even a short period of time. And he sat there for a minute and a half, because this is a long red light going in this direction, with me standing there in said bright orange t-shirt. Hard to miss. Well, he's just hammering at me. He's coming in hard. Didn't even slow down. He swerved around me. Dude, pedestrian in the crosswalk with the signal, having been there halfway across the road. And you sat there looking at him for 90 seconds. And he had to swerve. I mean, he was going to hit me. He had to swerve around me. Did the extra 3 seconds it took me to cross those lanes of traffic, what was that going to cost you? Think about how much time it'd cost you if you'd run me over and, you got your ass arrested. Couple nights later, my wife and I were taking a walk in the neighborhood. We came up to a 4-way intersection, 4-way stop. Traffic was clear. We start crossing. Traffic is waiting for us. Good. Until the SUV over there. We're just across the midpoint. She starts driving into the intersection. We're not clear yet. And while we were walking, an elderly woman is walking toward us. Not only is the intersection not at all clear because we're still in it, or the crosswalk not clear, but another pedestrian and an elderly woman on a cane is now in the in the crosswalk. And this fat bitch in an SUV is driving into the middle of the intersection. Well, I stopped and turned and looked at her as this little old lady is hobbling across the street. And she stopped in the middle of the intersection. So now the guy who could have made his left turn because he's going completely away from the pedestrians, he's got nowhere to go. Because this woman, I guess she couldn't let him jump her right of way. But it wasn't her right of way. There were pedestrians in the crosswalk. And I'm seeing this sort of thing so much. And I don't know if it's an increase in the assholery or if it's just confirmation bias and I'm just noticing it. But it's getting tiresome. Like, I have 3 young children who play in the parks and their friends are around in the houses around these streets. I don't want them run over because you feel you've got to save 3 seconds on your drive. So, assholes behind the wheel, can the assholery. Okay? It'll be good for everybody. Enough said, I think. What I will say, thank you for watching. Thanks for listening to me rant and rave. Thank you for not being an asshole behind the wheel. That was my time. Now it's your time. And in the meantime, take a breath, calm down, drive nice, and you'll see me soon.